And you another order, for I see you have a blue ribbon at your buttonhole. Yes, they sent me the order of Charles III, returned Debray. Come, do not affect indifference, but confess you were pleased to have it. Oh, it is very well as a finish to the toilet. It looks very neat on a black coat buttoned up, and it makes you resemble the Prince of Wales or the Duke of Reichstadt. It is for that reason that you see me so early, because you have the order of Charles III and wish to announce the good news to me. No, because I passed the night writing letters. 25 dispatches. I returned home at daybreak and strove to sleep. But my head ached, and I got up for a ride for an hour. At the Bois de Boulogne, ennui and hunger attacked me at once. Two enemies who rarely accompany each other, and who are yet leagued against me, a sort of Carlo-Republican alliance. I then recollected that you gave a breakfast this morning, and here I am. I am hungry. Feed me. I am bored. Amuse me. It is my duty as your host, returned Albert, ringing the bell, while Lucien turned over, with his gold-mounted cane, the papers that lay on the table. Germain, a glass of sherry and a biscuit. In the meantime, my dear Lucien, here are cigars. Contraband, of course. Try them, and persuade the minister to sell us such instead of poisoning us with cabbage leaves. Peste! I will do nothing of the kind. The moment they come from the government, you would find them execrable. Besides, that does not concern the home but the financial department. Address yourself to Monsieur Human, section of the indirect contributions, Corridor A, number 26. On my word, said Albert, you astonish me by the extent of your knowledge. Take a cigar. Okie dokie, getting a little bit of banter by Albert and Debray. Makes me wonder a little bit, what did friendships look like back in the day? It's not like these two are, hanging out, drinking a beer, playing video games together. Like, was there a lot of bonding going on? Outside of the family home, and in-laws and that sort of stuff. I mean, I guess you're maybe getting to know people-ish. I'm thinking if they're like at a coming out party, a societal party of some sort. There might be parlor games, a little bit of dancing, but if everybody is expected to be conversant on a wide swath of topics, and you don't want to be too controversial, otherwise you will be shunned from that society, how interesting is this really? And how much are you really getting to know people? I guess maybe it's one of these things where our modern understanding needs to be set aside to really look at the context and also be very aware that we're talking about two upper class men where friendship seems to be built around class and access to each other. Like Debray isn't making friends with Madame Danglars' footman, right? So it's not like they have like shared hobbies or activities that they're doing with each other. I mean, maybe, okay, let me think this through for a second. So, I would imagine a lot of the bonds that they have maybe start early on. If you are brought up being exposed to other families from a young age, perhaps you go to university and school together. I'm gonna maybe set aside the idea of workplaces because these men don't seem to work in the traditional sense. And I guess, yeah, true. There's the whole military component. Now, TBD on Debray having been in the military, but my sense is that Albert has not. But speaking more broadly beyond these two men, I suppose that deep bonds are formed there. But how much affection do men have for each other when they're just like visiting each other in each other's salons and dining together? I guess that's what I'm saying is like the conversations that come from those seem so superficial and topical. You aren't talking necessarily about your experience the way that we do nowadays, or not talking about your experience if you're that type of person, but either way, you are either engaging with it or choosing not to engage with it, but it's there now. I'm speaking from a sociological perspective that I do not have the basis to make claims about. But what does a deep attachment mean back then? I guess is what I'm trying to wrap my head around, because I can't be what it is today. I mean, having a century of psychology under our belts, having cultural and scientific studies about masculinity and friendships and bonding and what's healthy, what's not. I mean, it has shaped the way we not only view but engage with our relationships, both with the same sex and not. Though, okay, is this a comparison to make? Like, Dante and the Abbé, Faria, remember him? They bonded, but they were in circumstances in which it was thrust upon them. They were taken out of society and therefore allowed to grow closer to each other through survival, but also through mentorship and through mutual respect and understanding and shared experience. That is the sort of thing that maybe I'm not giving it enough credit, but feels like the average high society, aristocratic friendship is maybe missing. I could be way off on that. It just feels like these friendships seem a little superficial to me. They always have. Any kind of period piece that I'm reading seems that way to me. And maybe I'm just brainwashed, and my view of this is through such a narrow window, because you look at, say, other pieces of literature where the man who doesn't fit that mold, the man who does live emotionally, the man who does crave something beyond the limits of high society, whether that be emotionally, whether that be intellectually, whether that be curiosity, can scandalize him, but also makes him the most interesting character, makes him the most human character. I'm thinking of people like Heathcliff from Wuthering Heights, Mr. Darcy from Pride and Prejudice. These are men, I guess anyone that Laurence Olivier ever played in a film. These are men who are born of high society, but don't live of high society. Well, I guess Heathcliff definitely wasn't born of high society, but you get my drift. Wow, what a tangent of an episode. Not what I meant to get into today. So let's just wrap it up and go into the penultimate episode already of Chapter 39. So join me here tomorrow for a little bit of that. Shall we? We shall. Until then, okay, goodbye. The Countdown of Monte Cristo is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. This show is produced, edited, and hosted by Landon Solano. The original text of The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. Theme song by Magic Solo. If you want to support the show and others like it, visit patreon.com/gruntworkpod. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow.